Hey, what's up YouTube? Mike from Mass here, Mass Aquariums, and we're going to start a new series because I've been getting a lot of comments and a lot of requests for some new videos, so I'm going to start a new series on filters. Now, there's a ton of filters out there, there's a ton of brands, there's a ton of kinds, so we're going to go over what kind of filters there are out there and what you will need for your tanks. Now, there's basically four types of filters. There's your canister filters, your hang-on-the-back filters, your sponge filters, and your inline or in-tank filters. Now, lucky for you, I run all of these on my tanks. I have an inline filter on my Nano, I have a sponge filter on my Grow Out, I have a hang-on-the-back on a couple of my tanks, and I have a canister filter on a couple of my tanks. So, you're going to get some good information here. So we'll start the series off with the hang-on-the-back filter, one of the most popular filters out there. A lot of people use it. It's easy to get at Petco, PetSmart, or your local fish store. And it's really like the grandfather of all filters. I mean, everybody grew up as a kid, they had a hang-on-the-back. No one had a canister filter. No one had an inline filter. You had your 10-gallon tank or your 20-gallon tank with all your little fish in it, and you had your basic hang-on-the-back filter. Now, hang-on-the-backs have come a long way. And I actually, although I do run canister filters on the majority of my tanks, I love hang-on-the-backs. And specifically, the Fluval Aqua Clear hang-on-the-back. Boom, right here. This is not a advertisement. I'm not sponsored by Fluval or Aqua Clear, but I do love these filters. Now, they have Aqua Clear 10s, 20s, 40s, 50s, 70s, and 110s. Now, I run an Aqua Clear 110 on my 30-gallon tank. It might be overkill, but in my opinion, if you have the right stuff packed in your filter, you know, there's really never, overfiltration can never really be a problem. In my opinion, you know. You can look at other YouTube channels, research it. Overfiltration might be a problem if you find it on Google. Not in my opinion. I love overfiltration. I love putting a bigger filter than my tank needs on it. And it's worked for me so far. So I hope it works for you. So let's just go over a basic Aqua Clear hang-on-the-back. Now, this is a Aqua Clear 50. Basically, all your Aqua Clear filters, hang-on-the-backs, are going to come with the exact same stuff. It's going to come with your filter, a nice little basket, which you put a sponge in, and then your media. It's going to come with your, your intake. Boom, boom. You can see how this goes on. I'll just do it for you real quick. Just so you can see. And then, bam. Wrong way. You know I like to fumble with stuff. Then your cover. Now, these filters, you can run them on pretty much any one of your tanks. I mean, if you have a 75 or like a 125 and you want to run multiple hang-on-the-backs, like if you have a, let's say you have a 125 and you want to run two Aqua Clear 110s on each side, or if you have a 55 and you want to run two 70s on each side, or 350s or 250s, you know, these filters do a great job. In my opinion, these are one of the best filters around. Now, for everybody out there getting into the fish tank hobby, what do you need to run your tank? Now, if you're going to have a 10-gallon tank, or a 20-gallon tank, or a 30-gallon tank, or a 40-gallon tank, or a 55-gallon tank, I would recommend hang-on-the-backs. You can go the canister route if you're upwards of 55 or better, but a hang-on-the-back is the best filter you're going to get. It's going to filter the water. It's super easy to clean. You know, this thing's running on the back. You take it off. Boom. You take your basket off. Rinse out the filter. The impeller of this actual hang on the back comes out super easy, which is very important to clean your impeller, because once that impeller stops working, well, then everything stops working. So you need your impeller to be really clean. And then 5 minutes later, pop your basket back in, pop your rinse sponge back in, throw your media back in, boom, cover on top, good to go. Now, hang on the backs are, I do prefer canisters for most of my bigger tanks, but if I could, I would run hang on the backs on all my tanks. They're so easy. They're really fish keeper friendly. They run perfectly. You can look at the flow. If the flow starts to go down, you just unplug it when you do your water change, take it off the back of your tank and dump it out and clean it. And it should take you 5 minutes to do. I love hang on the backs. I wish I could run hang on the backs on all my tanks, but unfortunately there is just a little tiny bit above hang on the backs, and that's a canister filter, which we'll get into in part 2. But for this one, hang on the back, Aqua Clear by Fluval is by far my favorite hang on the back filter. You have your Whispers, you have your Aqueons, you have, there's a Marineland, there's a million brands out there. There's BioWheels, there's this, there's that, I can't say anything bad about too many of them because I've really only run a couple, but by far Aqua Clear, in my opinion, for my tanks, is the best. Unbelievable filtration, mechanical, biological, chemical. It's going to work for everything. Easy to clean, easy to maintain, and what else do you have to say? So, this is going to be series number 1 on filters, filters, filters. Hang on the backs. What do you need for your tank? Comment down below. Subscribe. Ask me any questions you want about filters, and I will definitely get back to you. Join Mass Aquarium's Facebook group, and I'll also get back to you, and so will all my buddies. Will answer any of your questions you have, and that's it for part 1. Filters, filters, filters. We're going over to 4 filters, your 4 basic filters. Hang on the back. Aqua Clear. I'm out.